right, abusia micha na mensan so emo akwaba emre channel so abusia fo ha eda so aye be media gi abusia be so ase ene da edikan ya wani etwe channel so a ye be so ase be subscribe ede amaye YouTube channel no bobo aye notification bell no so for more political updates abusia ene nkomo bi aba abonten a efa aye Ken Ofori Atta ye papa aye nanado dankwa kofuado santibedi atu ene top MPP gurus ho na abusia anso ha chese ye Ken Ofori Atta na busuafo omo ewo eye chebi abusua omo ho nsem aba abonten ani na efa ye Ken Ofori Atta abra ice for ensa esonu mu ewo eye US abonten so na busua we dem amekasa wa pese ye koniti ensem aba abonten yes yentie ensem mu akasa enchiremu ene ensem a chese Ghana ye ambassador to US ono so e de aba abonten afa ye Ken Ofori Atta ho abusua yentie enkomo no emra sese ha eda so aye be media gi abusua but modi anso be subscribe be like na o abo aso a share na so abo notification bell no so more podcast update yentie enkomo aba abonten ma sese ha ye da so
komo no ni nyina ne hye Ken Ofori Atta ye che no nyame ya adoma ye 20th ene de ne be court e report wa kofum ze Ken Ofori Atta beba Ghana na ehu be bi ensusu ade bo ne ho no befa na abusua ba ye ne amanfo kasa Ken Ofori Atta ye che no ye nti se kufuado kasa ye nti se nana asarbedi atu Gabby wo kire da ko kasa abusua obia kire na adwo se ene na enkofo yi o mafa he o mo nka bi because ya che omu abusuani in related to our extradition request to Ghana for the US na enkomo ni nyina se abusuan wa bra ye che no na eye Ghana ambassador to US friend honorable Victor Smith na adwen se obekwa akosira no as ambassador to Ghana no ya chi Ghana ni bi kwa ahohia mu a ono na behwe na chese consular service a ye hwe se bia bebi oda ne ye ni dabrem ye or complications be or making sure say the welfare of their citizen is being secured no na abusuam na honorable Victor Smith ye na adwen se akosira Ken Ofori Atta akohwe na pomudin se obihia no bi ana ohia assistance bi a abusuam oye na adwen se okona na Ofori Atta ka kire se ne lawyer in ho ntino mo omomba later kra wo decline say on person obi ho na ma me mo sa video ni chiro na me inform me enkomo bi wase.
Were you also briefed about the revocation of his valid visa?
No, Attorney General mentioned that to me. The extent of my involvement at this stage was when he had been picked up. I discussed it with the consular officers of my embassy, and we decided to make a request to make sure that he was being treated properly as per protocols, international protocols. And so we requested, and they agreed in principle to allow us to come and visit. But just before we set out, the ICE people came again and said the detainee had refused to meet with us without his lawyers. That was the initial response from the detention center. And they were going to go back to him and probably request that his lawyers appear so we can come and verify for ourselves that he's being treated fairly and not being denied, for instance, his medication and all that. But we waited for a while. After about a few hours, they came back to us to say the detainee, being the ex-minister, had refused now to see us under any circumstance. So that was the end of the road for me and the embassy.
Now, fast forward, and honorable Victor Smith. Sir, honorable Victor Smith, I can say, and that's what guarantee interview a key point. Jumedi so de bia me de bia TV3 and for credit momo. Na okba Jumedi ensu through Zoom no odin komo bi chere say na circulation and na money chese o Kufuado abusuanfo eye Ken Ofori Atta ye che no yenti se Kufuado akasa yenti se Gabby kasa and o say Kufuado abusuanfo efre no na ono de he has nothing to hide or yes specific Gabby Ochedako. So Gabby Ochedako a friend say ya chino offers no na kusi saying as on any negotiate and no cause no Ken Ofori Atta must to go through due process ye chi will be wa brochi memo because broni emra na respect finance minister, respect the president, and respect ubia the process you must to pass through. And no chance for that the fine ya channel, but he must go through the process. Now, I say a negotiation form or making sure say the warfare will go through. But meanwhile, this warfare was granted before, but Forata denied. No, Chirama Forata be go through the due process. It as a negotiation in bargain, be a person will go into it, or Charon say a process now also go through. No, we need any further assistance to cut off deals with the eyes or the FBI to make sure Forata set free or go scot free. Yango Tieno. Key points.
You are entrusted with public responsibility. All of us, those of us outside and inside, let us make sure. And that is the beginning of, to me, that is the beginning of development in Ghana.
Okay.
If we are all accountable and we will spend state investment appropriately, that will be the foundation for the development of the state.
Thank you very much. But Ambassador Smith, let's just get the context right, because what you said has actually been the basis for yes, please.
Yeah, let me be very clear here. You remember, I first of all wanted to go visit Ken Forata, just to see whether he had any concerns or whatever. But I indicated a short while ago that some friends or relatives of his, I'll be very specific. I had a call from Gabby Otridako. He expressed that worry. And I assured him that he will have to go through the due process. I mean, everybody goes through a due process of law. So they're not going to be like, people are not going to attack him. We don't behave like that. He and that Ken himself, by his own doings, being evasive with the OSP arrest, have created this brouhaha around his case. So that is the point. So don't let nobody get me wrong. It was not my own view. It was a view expressed by Gabby Otridako, who is a relative of his. He made a call to me, and I said, I wanted to have an opportunity to assure him that he would have to go through the due process like anybody else goes through the due process. So that anxiety, fear, and everything was expressed by Gabby.
I see. So Gabby Otridako called you that Ken Forata was.
Yes, he did. He thinks that his problem is that he's not sure how he'll be handled or whatever. And I said, listen, I mean, this country, nobody, you go through a due process, and that is what the Attorney General has told me. And I had wanted to communicate that to Ken, if I had the opportunity to meet with him.
And after that assurance given to Gabby Otridako, who made that call to you,
you don't need that assurance.
Did that seem to have addressed those concerns of apprehension when you spoke to him?
No, I mean, he knew that, he communicated. I don't know whether he has spoken to Ken, but it looks as if he was not communicating with Ken. He was in Accra and he made that call. Okay, and he thinks that is. He thinks that is the worry that his cousin has. Then I said, who's going to harass him? He has to go through a process. When he arrives, and the Attorney General had told me that he'll be taken through the due process like anybody else.
See. Thank you for this very important clarification, because then it also brings another layer of context to the issue. I'll come back to you in Savento, but Prof, I'll come to you. On now that we're getting to know a bit more detail, Gabby Otridako, according to Ambassador Smith, made that call actually about Ken Forata feeling, or he had this fear or apprehension that he might be treated unfairly, and reason why he refusing to come to Ghana, essentially. But the sentiments so expressed, as Kofi referenced, and then the conduct of the OSP as he referenced, does that have any possibility or locus in law to influence how the process will play out against Ken if he comes, to legitimize any sense of apprehension that he has?
Well, that influence, can that influence the process? Well, you see, this, in terms of sentiment, okay, so we'll analyze from two perspectives. You are looking at what happens in the courtroom, and then you're also looking at public perception, so the court of public opinion. Obviously, Ken has brought this upon himself, right? By absconding, what he's done is that he's opened himself. Yes, so he's opened himself to so much opprobrium. People would, throw all manner of abuses, etc. at him. Because once he was finance minister, he ensured that the current governor of the Bank of Ghana, Esiama, Raymond Amanfo, etc., were prosecuted over the banking sector debacle. Yes, Ofori, I'm saying, yes, it's him. It's him. Everything shows. It's him. Even there is a tape.
Even there are two forcing prosecution.
Yes.
Those of us who were close to the case believe that he was a mastermind.
Not just believe.
Because of Atuforce's advocacy.
Yes. Okay. Listen. Mr. Fosu, you've forgotten that Godfrey Dami admitted it on the tape. He said Ofori Atta and Akufo-Addo were on his neck to make sure that Atuforce is prosecuted and convicted so that there will be a rerun. So that is what Ken. Exactly. So he brought. He who lives by the sword would die by the sword. He caused this. He caused this.
Confessed, and we had evidence to that effect. He should have been removed from office.
Yes, but the tape was played here. No. The tape was played in court.
I'm not saying that it was right, but upon such information, if it had reached the president, you should have removed it.
By national security fees, the president. Yes, that's what we're saying. But the president was very happy with Godfrey Dami. Godfrey Dami is his beloved. This is son. That is what this Akufo-Addo likes. Also, I say Tiwa, Yechiro Kakrebi. Akufo-Addo likes violence. He says Tiwa. He said it. He said the Tiwa violence. Yechiro Kakrebi. Has he ever apologized for it?
You are making the point.
He said Tiwa violence. Yechiro Kakrebi. It's all Akufo-Addo who said it. You can Google it. When the violence in the by-election, I
don't want you to digress. You were making the point.
Yes, and so Apia Kubi's point is that if Akufo-Addo had heard about the tape was admitted in evidence in court, where Godfrey Dami said Akufo-Addo and Ofori Atta were on his neck to ensure that Atuforce would be prosecuted and convicted so that there would be a by-election. And you know, that's a parliament that had the 138, and then Esiama, the Fomena MP, had to work with the MPP. Then they got a very small, minuscule majority, right? So if there had been that by-election, then they would do a lot of machinations to get that seat too, right? So that is the record that Ofori Atta has built for himself. So because he knows he's done a lot of wrong, that is why he's afraid. That's why. Look at the banking licenses. Apart from, look at the untold hardships. Look at how he ran down state insurance, SIC. A lot of the businesses from SIC were hived off and given to his insurance company, Enterprise. Enterprise Insurance, state insurance, they were crying. They would see you and say, cancel. All the businesses were now being diverted from state insurance to Enterprise. We borrow, then Ofori Atta's company makes money. The bonds. Ghana borrows, then Ofori Atta's company makes money. So that's Akufo-Addo and his family becoming rich. That is the legacy he left behind. Please, I'm saying it. Look, Ms. Apia Kubi, when you have your time, say yours. You can't gaggle me. Every time, be careful. I would never. Just know that you and I are different.
Okay, hold on.
Stop. Every time you want to moderate.
Hold on.
No, I'm not. No, I just want you to know that he can never change me.
Make your point.
No, he's not coming there. I just want you to know that he can never change me. You are called Apia Kubi. I'm called Pebu. The two names are the same.
Hold on.
Yes, but not when I'm making my point. No, there's nothing wrong. Yes, so I'm saying Ghana borrows, then Data Bank make their cuts. Ghana borrows, then Data Bank makes their cut, the bonds. So there was an incentive to keep borrowing, no matter how the money was used. Yeah? And then in no time, we became debt-ridden. So these are the things that are driving his fears. He knows the mess he created. Look at the bonds, the haircuts. Look at the pensioners who died. Look at Kama, Dr. Ejekum. Ejekum was crying, Kama Health. etc. Look at the people who died. So he is scared because of his own negative legacy, not what anybody will do. That KK Kabubu song, maybe we should play it. Oh, the boy, anybody, aha, you know it, right? Nobody do. Running away, nobody do. So he knows what he's done. He knows what he's done. That's why he's running away. Please don't put this on any other person. Look, we live in Ghana. Some months ago, when the state took Abronye, very vituperous in his utterances, he would insult everybody. Yet, when the law, the way they treated him was against law, I stood up. Domlevo also stood up. Look at Domlevo. Very good. So that is it. That's our society. And yes, so why is Oforiatta's here? Let's start this in. A year ago, when Oforiatta left, at that time, I didn't know he was deceiving us, and I didn't know Kisei Jabin saw him leave. If you play back the tape, I was against the OSP for what they were doing, because I said, the man informed the state agencies that he's going for medical checkup. What's your business with this? Check. Let's play back. You see how I defended Oforiatta. So I think if today Oforiatta comes back and the state keeps him beyond 48 hours, I'll not talk for Oforiatta. I'll do that. I stood up for Abronye. Meanwhile, we all know how Abronye, people were calling me on that, say Abronye is insulting IGP, he's insulted President Mahama, all that. And you see, Kwachi Fosu, minister, you see, he didn't even, you see, he risked his position because the party works will say.
I publicly disagreed with the judge and demanded his immediate release.
Exactly, yes, I think we're here.
We rein in excesses by security agencies.
Thank you. So our society is changed. So me, talking today, if Oforiatta were to come today and were to keep him, even we don't have to wait for a 48 hours to elapse. So in the Pebu number 4, verse Attorney General number 4, so for Kufu's valedictory judgment, what she said and what the Supreme Court unanimously, that the moment it becomes clear to you that you don't want to admit the person to bail within the 48 hours, start going to the court. Don't wait. The law is not that wait for 48 hours to expire. So if Oforiatta, this is the promise, the pledge I'm making. Oforiatta comes, look, from the first hour, and this is how it shows you how our democracy is growing. We would be here, Facebook, TV3, monitoring. Yes, OSP, are you admitting him to bail? If you are not, what steps are you taking? Are we going to court? We will make sure that Oforiatta would enter court before the 48 hours if they will not admit him to bail. Ghana is changed. I mean, how? I can't come and sit here and say because of the things he's done, they should keep him. No. So this is fears. They are unfounded if they are based on what others will do.
Then he starts a process of seeking freedom. And it is also a legal process. And in fact, he was talking about OSP and Yoku. The law. Indeed, I remember when we were crafting the Yoku law, I complained that keeping arrest mandate in private hands is dangerous. And therefore, we should submit all such mandate through the judicial process. Somebody didn't understand what I was saying because he thought that he had read constitutions and I said that in practice, it is worrisome to place somebody in custody and the person who is determining his fate is somebody who is not knowledgeable in the law. Sometimes they don't even understand the concept of human rights. But he has power by the law. So, and when you are crafting the law with somebody in mind, you should be careful. Because by the time you finish with the law,